If you are having challenges with how to cut and sew stretchy fabric, this video is for you. In this particular video, I'm going to teach you about the stretch and the shrinkage factor of a stretchy material. Secondly, we are going to teach you how to cut perfectly using stretchy fabrics. Thirdly, we are going to teach you how to cut and sew active crop top wear for gym, sports, etc. I have this lycra fabric I intend using. If you're making use of a stretch fabric, such as lycra or spandex, try as much as possible to be knowledgeable about its special characteristics, the stretch, the shrinkage, and the recovery factor. This will help you effectively modify the pattern appropriately to get a desired outfit. The stretch factor is the amount of stretch per inch that occurs when the knit fabric is stretched to its maximum length and width. The stretch factor of a knit fabric range from 18 to 100% or more. Like this particular fabric now, we cut it out as 10 inches, so we are going to determine the stretch factor of it and the shrinkage. You can see from one side, as the other side is elongating, the other side is shrinking. So to determine the stretch factor and the shrinkage factor of these particular fabrics, this is what I did. I cut out 10 inches by 6 inches wide from this my particular lycra material. Then I place my ruler like this, place it at 0. Then as you've seen in this particular video, then in the other side I use my tape rule since I'm not having two rulers. So I'm going to determine the stretch factor now. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to pin one end of it. Look at, I'm pinning it out, and I'm going to see the maximum length it can stretch. So you can see now that it's stretching up to from 0 to 18. That every 10 inches of fabric when relaxed will give you 18 inches fabrics when it's being stretched. That's the maximum it can go. Then on the shrinkage factor, you are going to see that once it's stretched, it shrinks up to like for these 6 inches is going to shrink up to 4 inches. So we also determine the shrinkage factor that you see that as it's expanding, it's going to be shrinking. So while you are making your pattern, you're going to take that into effect. You also know that on the vertical axis, you are going to be adding more fabrics because it's going to be expanding. Then the material will be shrinking on the vertical axis. While on the horizontal axis, you are going to be reducing it by reducing it by second factor. So we are going to be making some calculations. So as you can see, for every 10 inches when relaxed, it's going to give you 18 inches when stretched. So I'm going to make it 17 inches for effectiveness. Then that means for every 10 inches, for every 1 inches when relaxed is going to give you 1.7 inches when stretched, which further means that when you're making your your horizontal measurement, you have to take this one into effect. Then it also means that if, for instance, you are having if we are to make use of for every 1 inches is going to give you 1.5 inches when stretched. So if we are going to use that, that means if we are having a bust of like, let's say we have bust of 36 inches, we are going to be dividing it by 1.5 inches, which is going to give us 24 inches. That means 24 inches of material will be okay for this bust of 36. But the funniest thing that it is going to be too tight, and since we don't want it to be too tight, we are going to be making use of 30 inches. Then that 30 inches, we are going to be having a lot of variations. That is, we can use it for large sizes from like 24 to like 40 inches bust size. So we as well calculate for the vertical side. On the vertical axis, we have 6 inches is giving us 4 inches when stretched. So that means for every 1 inches when relaxed, it's going to give us 4 divided by 6 inches, which is about 0.75. So here I make mistake and wrote 1.5 is about 0.75. Then that means if you are having a vertical line of 10 inches is going to give you 7.5. So you are going to put that into effect. When you are making your vertical measurement, what you are going to do is that you are going to be adding by it. So in this particular calculation, we are going to be using 1.2 inches for both vertical and horizontal measurement. So on the vertical side is going to be increasing, while on the horizontal side is going to be reducing. We are using it because of these characteristics of these particular fabrics. On the vertical side, it is not stretchy. On the horizontal side, it is very, very stretchy. So you see that on the vertical side, it is reducing, while on the horizontal side, it is expanding. So when we want to start properly, this is what we are going to do. So normally our half length measurement is 15 inches from the shoulder line to the waistline. So we are going to times it by 1.2. It's going to give us 18 inches. So we mark at 18 inches. From the shoulder line to the under bust line is 13 inches. So we times it by 1.2. It gives us 15 inches we mark. And that's how we put all into effect up to the chest line. The chest line properly is 8 inches from the shoulder line. So we times it by 1.2. It gave us 9.6 inches, so we put 9.5 inches there. So this is our vertical measurement. Horizontal measurement, we start with the half length of the shoulder length. So our half length is 8 inches. We times it by 1.2. We got 6.5. We mark 6.5 on the shoulder line, and on the chest line, we brought a line downward. And then the neck opening is supposed to be 3. By the time we times it by 1.2, we are going to mark 2 inches. So we make our shoulder slope. We use the shoulder slope of 1.5. And then we are going to bring out the neck depth. The neck depth we are be using here is 8 inches. By the time it got widening, because it's going to shrink, it's not going to be 8 inches again. It's going to be 6 inches. This is the effect. This is why we made that initial calculation. So if you don't make this calculation like this, you're going to be having undesired results. So we marked out the neckline. After we mark out the neckline, what we are going next is to mark out the armhole line. The armhole line here is going to be starting from 2 inches. The shoulder properly is going to be 2 inches. So we make the appropriate armhole line following the initial armhole. You can use your biro. Like I did first thing I did was to construct my initial armhole. When I construct my initial armhole and then constructed the main activewear armhole. Look at what I'm doing. Is going to be 2 inches wide. That is from the shoulder. And then I took that into effect. I first of all make use of a biro so that if there's any mistake, I can easily wipe it out then before I use my marker. So this is it. So we've impute our bust measurement. Our bust measurement was 30 divided by 4 inches, which is 7.5. We marked it. Our waist measurement is 25 inches divided by 4 inches. We divide by 4, which is 5.2. So we marked it out and connect. So this is our front piece of the activewear. When we are going to do the back piece, we are going to lay this on it to construct our back piece. The shoulder line is going to be the same. The neck width is going to differ. The neck width is not as deep as the front line. Then the armhole to some parts at the sideline is the same, but the armhole is not the same. We are going to be getting a befitting armhole for it. So first of all, we trace this out using our pencil or biro. We trace it out. When we've traced it out, so the next thing we'll do is that we bring out the neckline. Our neck depth I'm going to use the neck depth of 6 inches, but by the time it shrinks, it's not going to be 6 inches again. It's going to be around 4 inches. So I'll use neck depth of 6 inches. Then the armhole line, I'm going to reconstruct it so that it will become thinner at the back side, but the sideline is still going to remain the same. So this is what I'm doing. You can shape it to the way you like. So this is what I feel like doing. So this is it. And at the end of the day, this is our back pattern of the activewear. So is as this, the major factor we look into was the shrink factor and the stretch factor before we start cutting. So if you didn't look at this very well, you're not going to get them well. So after this, we shall be cutting the band from this the downward part of the pattern. We are going to make the band 2 inches wide. Since it's a band, it's going to be unfold from the underside. So we cut a band of 2 inches wide from it. We are coming to the end of this video. If you've not subscribed, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is one of the only way you can support us so that we can make more beautiful video. If there's any challenges you find, you can let us know. If we can help, we'll reach out back to you. And if there's any video you would like us to make, please don't hesitate to tell us. We are here to serve you. Thank you very much. This is our pattern. When you've cut this, what we are going to do is put our put it on our fabric, on the main fabric we're going to use. But remember that is on fold. We cut the back and we cut the front. The kind of machine we make use of, you can make use of overlock machine, which is better, or you can make use of zigzag machine. In most cases, when you're using stretchy material, you don't make use of straight machine. So this is our pattern, and this front, the back, and the band. You take it to your machine and sew. So we are going to be piping it using a bias. So what we did initially is first of all, you sew one of, for it to be better, you sew one of the active wear hand, the shoulder to shoulder together. When you sew it, then from the other side you are going to be using bias to pipe it from the surface. I strongly believe that this video might have helped you solve some part of your challenges. For watching this video, thank you very much.